and the princes decree justice, and from whom alone cometh all counsel, wisdom, and understanding. We, thine unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do most humbly beseech thee to send down thy heavenly wisdom from above, to direct and guide us in all our consultations. And grant that we, having thy fear always before our eyes, and laying aside all private interests, prejudices, and partial affections, the result of all our counsels may be to the glory of thy blessed name, the maintenance of true religion and justice, the safety, honor, and happiness of the king, the public weal, peace and tranquility of the island, and the uniting and knitting together of the hearts of all persons and estates within the same, in true Christian love and charity one towards another. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Be seated, please. Good morning, everyone. Call to order the sitting of the Jamaica Senate for Friday, February 21, 2025. And before we proceed further, there are some members who have asked the permission of the President and the Senate to join by Zoom. Senators Gabriela Morris, Dr. Sophia Longmore, and Janice Allen have asked to join virtually. Can I get the approval of the Senate in that regard, please? Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. The senators are permitted to join virtually.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And this morning, as I welcome us back in this new legislative year, we have with us filling vacancies that would have existed. Mr. Delano Seabright, Mr. Marlon Morgan. Sorry. Yes, but this is my first sitting up here. And so I want to welcome them. You understand? Yes, yes. And Dr. Elan Thompson. And I want to extend to Dr. Thompson a special welcome because he's a man out of the West, out of Montego Bay. And whilst he joins us in the Senate, and as you would have heard at the previous sitting, that his mother was ill at the time, but she has no transition. And so I want to express the condolences of the Senate, myself, and other members of the Senate to Dr. Elan Thompson and the passing of his mom. May her soul rest in peace, Dr. Thompson. Statements by ministers, announcements.
Laid on the table of the Senate are the following. Estimates of expenditure 2025-2026 for the financial year ending March 31, 2026, dated February 13, 2025. Jamaica Public Bodies Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure for the year ending March 2026, dated February 2025. Government of Jamaica Fiscal Policy Paper for the financial year 2025-2026, dated February 13, 2025. Tax Expenditure Statement for the period 2021 to 2023, dated February 2025. Jamaica Mortgage Bank Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure for the year ending March 2026, dated February 2025. Government of Jamaica Medium-Term Debt Management Strategy for the financial year 2025-2026 to 2028-2029. For the year 2025-2026, the Public Sector Consolidated Estimates of Expenditure for the financial year ending March 31, 2026, dated February 13, 2025, and finally, the Revenue Estimates 2025-2026 for the financial year ending March 31, 2026, dated February 13, 2025. Thank you, Mr. President.
Bills brought from the Honorable House of Representatives.
The following is a message from the Speaker of the House of Representatives to the Honorable Senate. I have the honor to advise the Honorable Senate that on the 11th day of February 2025, an act to amend the Counties and Parishes Act to declare the city municipality of Portmore the 15th parish of Jamaica and for connected matters was passed in the House of Representatives with one amendment. I wish to further advise the Honorable Senate that on the 18th day of February 2025, the following bills were passed in the House of Representatives: an act to amend the Tax Administration Jamaica Act, an act to amend the Bretton Woods Agreement Act to exempt locally recruited employees of the World Bank from the payment of income tax, and an act to amend the Public Procurement Act with 4 amendments. Juliet Holness, MP, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, I signify my willingness to take charge of the bills shortly entitled the Counties and Parishes Amendment Act 2025 and the Bretton Woods Agreement Amendment Act 2025.
A bill shortly entitled the Counties and Parishes Amendment Act 2025, read a first time, and a bill shortly entitled the Bretton Woods Agreement Amendment Act 2025, read a first time.
Mr. President, I beg to give notice of the second reading of the 2 bills just read for the first time. And, Mr. President, I signify my willingness to take charge of the bills shortly entitled the Tax Administration Jamaica Amendment Act 2025 and the Public Procurement Amendment Act 2025.
A bill shortly entitled the Tax Administration Jamaica Amendment Act 2025, read a first time, and a bill shortly entitled the Public Procurement Amendment Act 2025, read a first time.
And, Mr. President, I beg to give notice of the second reading of the 2 bills just read for the first time.
I think the copies have been circulated, so just ensure that Senator Brown has a copy. There you go, Senator Brown. All right, papers. Sorry, petitions. Papers, reports from committees, notices of motions given orally, questions and answer to questions.
Mr. President, at the
Yes, sir.
last sitting of the Senate, we were told that we should resubmit the questions from the last parliamentary term. for response, and I have done so with the question standing in my name. And the minister, the Honorable Minister, had indicated that she had the answers to the questions. So it was just a matter for retabling of the questions, and I would want to find out what's the situation with that. And at the same time, Mr. President, you know, I'm putting this to the Honorable Senate because the Disabilities Act 2014 should have been reviewed prior to last week, Friday, and based on the law, Section 48. And it has not, the Joint Select Committee for that process has not been established. And so we are in a quandary now with the legislation because the state is in breach of the legislation. And I would like to find out what measures are going to be put in place to correct that situation post-haste.
Well, is it in relation to what you had raised about things coming off the order paper? And you were asked to make a resubmission?
Yes, yes.
And you made the resubmission when? This morning?
Yes, I did make this resubmission.
This morning?
Yes.
And so it will...
It was sent to the clerk.
Yes, this morning. And so it has to be prepared in order to be presented, and it will be done at the next sitting, Senator Morris.
But, Mr. President, I mean, it's the same questions that were tabled the last time, and and they were approved. No adjustment, no modification were made to the question by me. And the Honorable Leader of Government Business said that we should just table the question and she will answer the question. So I don't understand what is the issue.
So it will be before us next week or the next sitting. And in any event, the person who would provide you with the answers, once they are the same, because you sent it this morning, wouldn't whatever you sent have to be reviewed, even though you say that you have the same questions, the same format, everything? Somebody still has to look at it. And the minister is not here this morning.
But it's not the minister who reviews the questions.
No, I'm not talking about the review of the questions. In any event, it still would have to be reviewed and looked on by her to ensure that what you sent is the identical questions. The minister is not here either today. So at the next sitting, Senator Morris, we don't have to continue along that line. At the next sitting, all will be corrected. If it is the same, Senator Brown, I mean, come on. You know that if it is the same and verified as being the same, then the answers will be the same. And the minister has indicated on the last occasion that she has the answers to the questions that were submitted. So if it is the same, it's going to be a simple one too, don't it? Senator Bunting.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
just for a procedural matter, having fallen off the order paper, I think, notwithstanding the fact that it was well overdue, but to put it back on the question notice paper, I think that's what Senator Morris is attempting to do, to put it back on, to get it back on the formal question notice paper, even though the minister may not be here to answer today.
Yes.
But just to get it back on the notice paper. So
And there is no issue with it, Senator Bunting. What I said is quickly in responding to that, and I asked Senator Morris if he submitted it. He said he did it this morning. This morning.
Which is
All right. So I think you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
No.
If he sent it, why didn't he send it yesterday? Why didn't he send it 2 days before so that it could be prepared and put here? It is going to be dealt with.
Since the question, first of all, exactly, it is quite often questions have been submitted at 8 o'clock to the president, and the substantive president, and he approves it. So it's not abnormal.
The substantive president is not here either.
Right. But
Substantive president is not here.
But But given that this had already been approved by the president, the form of the questions, and we were just retabling them,
Yes.
to put them back on the question notice paper.
Yes.
What's the objection?
And
to
I'm
them?
saying to you, sir, and I'm saying
Put
to
them
you,
back on the question notice paper today. That's all
I'm saying, Senator Morris may have presented the same thing. He knows what he has presented, but somebody still has to receive it, and someone will still have to verify that it is the very same questions without any adjustments, and the person who has to approve it is not here, and the person who has to answer it is not here, and it will be dealt with at the next sitting. That is the commitment that has been given. Questions and answers. Questions, and the substantive president is not here. The substantive president is not here. All right. Well, I have not. Nothing has been presented to me. And so if you're going down that line, I wouldn't have a problem. But then I would still have to review it, and I would still have to request the questions which were previously submitted and to look through it. Thank you very much. Questions and answers to questions. We make mountains out of molehills, you guys. That's what they tend to do, all right? Questions and answers to questions. Motions that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notice. Motions relating to sittings of the Senate. Motions for leave to introduce bills. Presentation of bills without leave of the Senate first obtained. Public business.
Mr. President, I was pleased to just listen. It is not contemplated for us to do further business today, so I'm asking that the Senate be adjourned for a date to be fixed. Yes. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Minister. But what we have before us, what has been laid on the table before us, several bills, so that going forward into the next sitting and others, I'm certain that there will be robust debate in this chamber. So, members, this sitting of the Senate is adjourned for a date to be fixed. Those in favor? I am not turning on the mic, Senator. I am not turning on the mic. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. This sitting stands adjourned.